Welcome back to Nick Lenz Comic Corner, the classic, less known classic. This episode number 77, uh, 77 and Doubleshot 2671. Excuse me. First, we're discussing the final trade ever released, Batgirl. This was the last. This trade here is called Batgirl: Destruction's Daughter, which it collects issues 65 to 73. So in these particular issues, Cassie Kane is looking for her mother. She asks her father about it, and he's like, nope, not telling you. Even if she basically beat the crap out of him as Batgirl is Bat in cell, and tells him, you are a terrible father. Which is indeed true, because how he raised her. And then she goes on a journey. Of course, she finds Lady Shiva, asks basically the obvious question, are you my mother? And he's like, what do you think? Kind of look in the eyes. And then while she's fighting her, she basically takes away a little mask that covers her face. It was the eye covers that she had since the start of the series. It seems like Beth felt more, and then, of course, the person with her gets frozen by Mr. Freeze. He is here to basically bring back his wife, Nora, and goes terribly wrong in this one. It only lasts for a couple issues, and then we kind of end on a nice little note here. With Batgirl reunited with Barbara, and she kind of figures out that you could say implied the fact she may know the fact Lady Shiva is her mom. And that's pretty much basically the issues in a nutshell. Final thoughts on Batgirl Volume 1. This actually was a really good volume. Not necessarily bad issues here. I never thought anything was bad here. I didn't think any of the writers were bad. Now, why did this book end at the 73 issues? According to Linkar, it was moderately successful. It's like, I heard it from what he described. It seemed like it had pretty decent sales to keep it going. But nope, DC in their infinite wisdom decided to axe the book after 73 issues. And you know what the strange thing about this is? All the volumes for Batgirl coming up after this don't even last as long. You're like, what? Yes, seriously. First we had the miniseries we'll discuss another time. Then we had Volume 3, which was 24 issues, which was really good, the 70-pound book. Then you had the relaunch that was New 52, which a lot of fans basically hate the fact DC did it. But that volume lasted for 52 issues. Got relaunched again for DC Rebirth. And that lasted for 50 issues. And it was one of DC's weakest books. And of course, the final issue was a middle finger to any reader who basically read the book. 50 issues. That book lasted for 50. It is shocking the fact it lasts that long. And it's like, I have this theory related to BC Comics. If it's not Wonder Woman, we can't have a book lasting for a long period of time that is a female-led book. Like, take for example, Batwoman for example. She had a couple volumes. Her first ongoing volume lasted for 40 issues. Though most of it was really good, the second half was not that good. Then you had the relaunch Rebirth, which was 18 issues, which was really good. And then nothing. Overall, in the course of 2 volumes, the series only put out 58 issues altogether. You're like, really? I would say probably the one female-led book that has got the second highest number of issues behind Wonder Woman is Catwoman. Oh, and Catwoman will replace the Batgirl after I reviewed the miniseries Batgirl that comes after this one. Oh, and what happens Batgirl after this? Why, Adam Beach decided to turn into a villain. Because when I heard he was told to do this because some idiot named Dan DeDeal dislike legacy characters. Now, I don't know how Kelly Pudick felt about this at all. I'm sure he probably hated the fact that a character he created was turned into a villain where she's like laughing out like crazy, and then there was retcon in Teen Titans that she was drugged. Yeah, then basically we had the mini-series for her redemption. We'll discuss another time. But yeah, I'm going to give basically this final trade a 9 out of 10. Next up, we have the final issues of Chuck Dixon's run for Robin. Issues 87 to 97, and issue 100. Why am I skipping 98 and 99? Because I'm Bruce Wayne Murderer. Throughout these issues for this particular book, we still have, well, Tim still part of this private school, which of course at one point he briefly leaves because he deals with the Cobra cult, and his father is upset with them that Jack Drake is such an unreasonable person. Like, he thinks because his son is a teenager, he thinks he's lying. Tim explains the reason why he was out of town for a few days. By the way, prior to this, they had this bully named Buzz who accidentally struck a dean. And he did get punished, but he wasn't expelled. They thought he would be expelled. Nope, he wasn't expelled. He just was punished. He just, I guess, got detention. This was a very interesting, basically, thing with this one. Then, basically, like, where Jack is, like, he is very unreasonable. Like, he thinks his teenage son is unresponsible, uncooperative, when he's not that at all. And then, basically, after the Bruce Wayne Murderer stuff, apparently the Drakes lose their fortune. Somehow. I'm not sure how, but they do. And so they have to sell their nice mansion, and Tim has to sell his car. In issue 100. Yes. Sold the car and got it sold it for $50,000. Yes, he had to sell his Redbird car. And so they had to move to a condo inside the city, which they own. And, of course, basically, there's also a thing in the book where Tim and Bruce are having a very strained relationship. So Stephanie's brought into the fold. Tim is not happy about it. And that's kind of basically his quote for later in the issues. And then, like, for a bit, and then, like, we have some standalone stuff where we have stuff with Blue Beetle, which that was going to lead to somewhere. Yes. Where Tim is happy and lays the birds of prey. And, of course, basically, we end on a nice note, issue 100. And then, basically, the next writer decides to give Chuck Dixon the middle finger. I'll explain that in a bit. But final thoughts on Chuck Dixon's run for Robin. Wow, this was an amazing run. It just, like, shocking the fact of why he left. Why he left after 100 issues. Now, there were some ideas I heard he had. Namely, the Blue Beetle stuff. Where, get this, Tim Drake was going to take some time off being Robin, be Blue Beetle for 6 months and take her come back, and then potentially start a team of Blue Beetles. And somebody at DC said this. They thought, like, that some idiot DC Comics, I don't know who Chuck Dixon was mentioning about this, someone thought no one had any idea who Ted Kord is. I'm like, really? Do we not know who Ted Kord is? The Blue Beetle. We've seen him pop up in the JLI. I'm sure there's still readers who know who the heck Ted Kord is. The person who said this is a complete moron. Yes. And I'm sure Chuck Dixon probably let the guy out, probably because he probably was good to him throughout his run. Yeah. And also, another plan of his, like, who's going to fill in for Robin? Stephanie. Which that did happen, but not under him. Happened to Bill Willingham. Okay. Yeah. It's like so much stuff on the table, and I don't think it's because Chuck Dixon left to go to CrossGen. No, it's because by the time Chuck Dixon left, the early 2000s for like that period of time for the Batman Saber comics was not very good because they basically forced Danny O'Neill to retire. Yes, Chuck Dixon has mentioned about this on his podcast. I heard about this on a documentary. I think it was like Bat documentary. I think it was. I think it was Salazar Night. He mentions too about the reason why that Danny O'Neill left, why he decided to retire, because he was kind of forced into retirement because some people higher ups wanted to take Batman books a different direction, and they replaced him with a guy named Bob Schreck, who decided to put Larry Hama on the book, who's a good writer, but his run was not very good. The almost even agreed that his replacement was a much better person to write the book, which is Ed Brubaker. It's like he had some strange ideas, and the worst thing happened with him, he had a prison named after him in Gotham City. Yep. Yeah. But in the case of basically like how do I feel basically how the run ended? It ended pretty nicely. The run itself managed to last for another about 7 years before the book ultimately got axed and replaced with Red Robin. Now, before I end this video here, how many issues left to go for Robin? Well, basically the next issues to review are going to be, these issues are left to review. 101 to 125, 131 to 147, and 154 to 183. It's not 83 issues. Oh no, it's like, because I've already reviewed issues 126 to 131 and 140 to 153 already, so it's less than that. It's not 83. It's like let's see, 6. Let's see, it's 12. Basically, it's 71 issues overall left to go for the whole series. And then I'll pretty much be done. For Batgirl, got one mini-series left to go for her, and then she's done. Well, yes, it's still also Batgirl, but I'll come later. But for the main Batgirl book, once we Batgirl Volume 2, that's done. What's the plan to finish, when I eventually finish up Robin? What series do next? I don't know yet. Excuse me. I honestly don't have any idea. I have not decided yet. I'll find in the future about that one, okay? So yeah, that's particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do not hit the dislike button. Oh, I give also 87 to 97 and 100 a 10 out of 10. That's my rating for them. Next up, one more comic corner, and it's on to that Magic Ranger versus Deca Ranger movie, okay? Thanks, people. Bye.